Can you share with us some of your experience while you were training with Pandit Bhimsen Joshi ji?
Sure. Uh, to start with, it was like an adventure going to Pandit Bhimsen and asking that whether you could teach me, because he was such a great singer. But I think one thing which helped me was when I was singing these Balagandharva songs when I was a child. So he had listened to me that time, and there is a one very funny incident which happened when we went as a child, when we went to his house, and I sang a couple of songs. So Balagandharva was also he respected Balagandharva quite a lot. So he he said he sort of encouraged me because he liked me singing Balagandharva songs, and he praised me, he encouraged me, etc. But at the same time, he also said to me one very useful thing. I was very thin when I was a kid, very thin in fact. So he said that it is good that you are singing these songs, but if you want to become a good singer and have a singing career in the long term, you should also give proper attention to your health. So he himself had he was very famous for having a very good health, and in his younger age he used to like go to gym like talim, and do all sort of weights and exercises. So he was very strong and stuff since his younger age, and so he showed his arm to me like this. See this. Your arm should become like this if you want to become a singer. So there was one very important message in that like you do a riyaz, like you do a practice of music, you also have to have a very good health in order to sustain what comes as part of singing career. And that was a very important lesson. And so this acquaintance with him actually helped when I finally went to him and said to him that I want to learn from you. So he asked me why from me, why not from somebody else. So I said to him that I listened to your songs since childhood, and the classical music. Then there was like an equation in my mind that classical music equals Pandit Bhimsen ji. So it has to be that's the kind of standard which he had set. And so after hearing this, he said that yes, I will teach you, but I have a condition. Then what was the condition? He said to me that although you have been performing as a child artist, now when you learn from me, till you do the proper riyaz and you attain certain level, you don't just go around performing everywhere. Okay, so that was the condition. So which was okay for me, because being able to learn from him itself was so much, it meant so much to me, that this was a very small condition compared to that. So then yes, I said that I'll obey this. So then he taught me like a very good guru. So he was a great guru as well as a great performer. And this combination sometimes can be rare. All good performers are not great teachers. May happen, but it wasn't the case in case of Panditji. He was as great a performer as he was a guru. And then he taught me everything, like about the Omkar that I told you. Then Omkar Sadhana, and then I of course had the foundation of classical music. I have already learned that from Marathi Guruji. But then he taught me various ragas in Kirana Gharana style. So there are various gharanas if you know. So he taught me various ragas, and then it went along like that. Now learning music was only one part of it. Being his disciple and seeing him in day-to-day life was actually some learning in itself, because we used to see how his honesty and his devotion towards the music, or his devotion towards his guru was surviving. The way he used to interact with people, in spite of being at such a height in terms of quality, he was always approachable. Anybody could go and talk to him, and he didn't insult that person even if he wasn't of the acquaintance. So all these things. Then he used to tell us, all the disciples, that don't copy my voice, don't try to copy the voice, try to get gayaki out of it. So which is a very, very important thing, because everybody's voice is different. If you are learning from your guru and you try to reproduce voice like him or her, it will be unnatural, because you have got a voice of your own. So it is important to sing in one's own voice, but take from Guru what is the crux of the Gayaki. So that's what he taught us. There are many things actually to say, but then that's a very vast subject, so I will just stop now.
Perhaps you could sing something that you learned from him.
From him?
Bandish or any Natya Sangeet or something.
The Bandish which I sang first, so that he taught me. But I will sing one Hindi song. You may have heard of, there was an album called Ramashyamu Guragam, and which had two Bharat Ratnas in it. So Pandit Bhimsen ji was one Bharat Ratna, and who was the other? Any idea? There was an album, Bhimsen ji and somebody else, who is also Bharat Ratna. And it was composed by Srinivas Khai. Any guesses? No, Balagandharva was prior to Bhimsen, but it's a very famous name. When I tell you, you will realize it's none other than Lata Mangeshkar. So this was the album in which Bhimsen and Lata Devi sang together, and so Khare Kaka, who was the composer, Srinivas Khai, always used to say that I'm the only composer where two Bharat Ratnas have sung in the same song with me. So I'll sing that particular song. It's a Hindi song, Baje Muraliya Baje. विमुख शिखर से हरि सम्मुख
and then one song.
Yes.
What did you like best about the Pandit Bhimsen Joshi?
What do you?
What did you like best about Bhimsen Joshi?
What did you like best about Bhimsen Joshi?
Musically, I always like his what we call as swara siddhi. So that is effectiveness of the sur. So that is called as swara siddhi. So you achieve siddhi in the sur. Because what happens is that the importance of sur is the most important thing in any melody. Okay. That is what differentiates between the great and the good. That's what I feel. Because Bhimsenji was such a singer that his sur could be appreciated by the persons who understand the science as well as the persons who don't understand science. And why is it like that? So that is because of the effectiveness of that sur. And that is musically, I think that's the most important part of Bhimsenji's Gaiki. Of course, there are other bits. His Gaiki was of course all round. It has got the sur and the tal, and it has got various tans, both tans, etc. His tan was also famous. But what happens is tan or the speed of tan may be dependent on your age, for example. But the sur always remains, and the his sur was always like it is called Bhimseni sur. So it is the same. It was the same in his old age as when he was young. And that had something to do with the swara lagav and the effectiveness of the sur. So that's the best part, I think, of his Gaiki. And as a person, we always felt that there is something divine in his personality as such. And a couple of points that I mentioned about the honesty or devotion towards the music, I think that was the best part of him as a person. Yeah.
Any more questions? Somebody at the back.
Musician and an engineer. And what keeps you going in both fields?
Actually, I used to like both the fields, and that's why I did both faculties simultaneously for many years. Like we had the atmosphere of music in our home, there was an atmosphere of academics in our home as well. My mother was a professor in mathematics and a researcher in population science and all that. So she was a very scholar person, and so she taught me since the childhood, even before going to the school, such that I started liking studies as well. And and then of course the music was going on parallelly. Then when I went to the college, etc., that was the time when I started going to Panditji, Bhimsenji. Now, I again had a good fortune that he encouraged me to continue on both the streams. And this was very, very good of him, because otherwise there is a typical tendency, a guru can say to his disciple that you have to take a decision whether you want to do a career in music or you want to do a career in engineering. You have to decide it now and then follow. That's one sort of line of thinking. But Bhimsenji had like open mind, and he encouraged me to continue both the lines, and that's why I could actually sustain both the things. Now, time-wise, of course, yes, it is a bit difficult. And that was true when I later did my MTech in computer science, and then I used to work in an IT company for around 15-16 years. So in the college as well as while doing the service, time was the critical factor. So a bit of time management was required to pursue both. So you have to find time somehow to do riyas in spite of the busy schedule in office. And I would say another thing important is to do prioritization. So at certain point of time, if there is a project delivery, then that's your priority, for example. And then at other times you can make up the lost time in music. So if you give right priority to the right thing at the right time, then things can be done. Of course, now I'm not pursuing both. For last 4 to 5 years, my contribution to music is started taking more and more and more of my time. So that at one stage I decided that I had to choose one. So I went with my passion, which is my music. And so last 4-5 years now I'm full-time musician. He is originally, the question is where is Bhate Guruji from? So he is originally from South India, from Karnataka, a small place called Ghadge. But then for most part of his life he was settled in Pune. So
Yeah,
I
it
think
was at the close of and
yeah, so we will take the last piece, which is all your Farmaish.
yeah.
Zohar Madam. So आपण खूप काही झालं.
So there was a like popular request. One of the bhakti songs, Zohar My Love Zohar. We will have that, and we will just give a short vote of thanks, and then you can close with the song. So we don't want any other sound after your sound.
It was really a lovely experience to have you here, sir, and thank you for coming, and also to Telang, sir. He gave him a nice accompaniment. Many thanks to the ADT, Bhau sir and Parth sir. Okay, without them it wouldn't have been possible. And also for setting up the stage and all this ambience. And last but not the least, okay, all the audience and children, your questions were really interesting. It kept the whole environment really lovely. Thank you for being here. And let us hear him. We will have a silence, usual silence, 2-minute silence after the song. And then we'll depart for dinner. Yeah? The juniors will go for dinner.
Uh,